Here we go. Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, semi-final week on NWA Powerr. The tagline for the event was no turning back. And there is no turning back from this podcast because we're going to be talking about that episode right now. And with it being NWA, that can only mean one thing. My NWA tag team partner, Miss Fiona Loughran. Hello, Fee.
Hello, you all right?
I am. It's the holiday blues, right? Because I'm getting ready to come home.
Ah,
Not that very
bummer,
far. Not very far to
bummer,
travel.
bummer. I feel like we're never off here at the moment.
We're not. And it's a good thing, right? Because we're getting to talk to a
Indeed,
lot of,
indeed.
and you get to see me multiple
Well,
times.
duh.
What what more could you ask for? I mean, Jesus, that's an incredible thing. Right. Bits of news to start off with. No, you tagged me, or you sent me something yesterday. And what we're not sure about is if this is good news for us and the NWA. So, as anyone in the UK knows, NWA is currently on Roku. So we can only, and it's only on Roku in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. You tagged me in something yesterday where
Mhm.
Roku in the UK is launching its fast channels, which
Like
is
40 channels, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
40 channels. Now, what we don't know yet, and what we're hoping, is that includes the wrestling channel, which would include NWA for us to be able to stream every week on Roku, which would be an incredible thing for us.
It would be marvelous, but at the moment, they've not obviously given us an idea. I did see another article I actually didn't send you, which basically said it was from a red top newspaper, let's just say that, basically saying look at Roku in the US to give you an idea of the sort of stuff that could be coming over.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Obviously, we know that I've had issues watching Powerr and I only got to watch it last night. It didn't work all day Tuesday, didn't work all day yesterday, and actually only worked after we came off with Gannon last night. So it was about midnight before I got to watch it before it worked because we tried when we were online and stuff. I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I am quietly hoping that my NWA viewing is going to be easier in the coming months, hopefully,
Hope so.
please.
Yeah, let's hope so. October is, I believe, when these channels launch on Roku.
Yeah.
So let's keep our fingers crossed for that one. Let's get into Powerr, though.
Mhm.
Lots of recaps from last week. We're not going to get into that. If you've seen it last week, or just watch our review from last week to know what happened. But we are getting into it. Semi-final. It's the big end of the Crockett Cup this week. Semi-finals. Davy Crockett on comms, which is nice.
Yeah, that was a cool, nice touch. Good to see
Nice
him
stuff.
back again.
Yes, on the grade. And it starts off with the colognes against the Holy Grail. EC3.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy, Pretty Boy Smooth.
My man mountain.
Your man Mountain. I tell you what, the crowd loved EC3 and PBS, didn't they?
Do you know, he, for the first time in a long time, looked like he was having a lot of fun
Mm.
in this match. Like, they were shouting and he was responding to the crowd and stuff. And it was actually quite nice to see him kind of almost let his guard down a little bit and just have that little kind of playful side to him because he's very serious normally in the ring. So for me, I was like, I really enjoyed seeing that kind of crowd interaction with him.
Yeah, it was good to see EC3 kind of, you say, enjoying himself with the crowd at the 2300 arena. I did find it funny when one of the colognes went to the second row to lock up Pretty Boy Smooth. I thought that was quite hilarious. But what I enjoyed about it, one of the things I noticed was obviously would kind of favour the colognes in this because they've been a tag team for so much longer than EC3 it at the start it wasn't that way though. It felt like EC3 and
Holy
PBS.
Grail were all over them at the start. Like they looked so, so strong at the beginning of this. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, I still don't know which one's which in the clones. So I was like I find it really hard to tell them apart.
I could tell you if I was watching it, but because I'm now trying to visualize them, I can't tell you which one's which.
So I was like when I was scribbling my notes last night and one of them was getting thrown about by both EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth. I was like, I don't know which one you are because they never said it on commentary. They just kept saying the colognes, and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. So I'm gonna hold my hands up and admit complete honesty for that.
I also wanted to add that EC3 was dancing during this.
Yeah, I clocked that. Yeah.
Maybe he's learning from Carson Drake.
The man with the most punchable face in wrestling.
Punchable face. There was lots of good quick tags actually from EC3 and Pretty Boy Smith, which brings my point to the fact that you was wondering who has been the tag team the longest. I'm not going to touch on the fact that it went to a break at this point because I want to come back to that because that's one of my said rants that I'm going to have. I'm going to have two rants during this, and this is one of them. So I want to get back to that. But when we come back from the break, the Colognes were then in control. We'd seen that they'd kind of shoved EC3 into the post on the outside of it. And then there was a long period when EC3 was just getting the brunt end of a beating from the Colognes. And then he did eventually make that tag PBS, who cleared house. But what made me laugh was he then re-tagged in EC3, and it was kind of EC3 was kind of like,
what's going on?
Just had the shit kicked out of me for 5 minutes, and now you want me to come back in. But I did kind of think that was quite interesting. But when the Colognes were in control, I did notice the change of pace. It was like a slow, methodical pace for EC3 and PBS. When the Colognes tagged in and started getting control, that pace quickened up, and you saw there was a kind of bit more energy to the pace of those two, which was a good thing because it's the differentiating between the two teams.
Yeah,
I liked it. But obviously, the end of this, CeeLo got ejected.
He did for bringing out a chair. Silly boy.
Bringing out a chair. But during that ejection, there was a low blow given, and then the backstabber, and the 1, the 2, the 3, and the Colognes made it through to the finals.
They did indeed, and they were the number 2 seed, so we expected them to go far anyway. So
we did, and again, when you look at the match on paper, you probably would have given them the victory based on what I've said all along, that these guys have been a tag team for so much longer. But I think Holy Grail has been probably one of the sort of the MVPs of the Crockett Cup, I would say. And you don't get a trophy for that, but I think these are the teams that perhaps you would have expected them to go out maybe the early stages because they've not been a tag team so long, but they've made it all the way to the final 4. So for me, they're the ones that, and they're probably the only sort of untag team tag team that was left in this tournament, really.
But they looked strong throughout.
No, they certainly did. They did, and maybe next year.
You never know.
You never know. Right, rant 1.
Okay, let's hear it.
During this break, they went and they basically gave you the promos from Latimer, from Colby,
Rhino,
and Rhino about their match coming up next week. My thing about my gripe with this is they done a whole tournament, Jax Dane tournament, a really nice tournament for Jax, obviously passed away. Colby, and they've done it over multiple episodes of NWA Power, as they normally do. Colby Corino wins the tournament, no gripes there, that's great. But then we get nothing about Colby cashing this in. Bearing in mind, this is a prestigious tournament that they've done over multiple weeks of Power. And the promo that he done, which was about legacy of the arena, his dad and everything, that would have been so much better for that to have been put on or more logical. But that to me have been, he'd come out at the start of the Crockett Cup, start of the week 1 of this show and said, you know what, given that the heritage, I've won this big prestigious tournament, hype up the fact that you've won the Jax Dane Memorial Tournament, hype up the 2300, hype up the legacy with your dad, and then end the promo by saying, and this is why I'm inserting myself into the main event, the Rhino Latimer, because when Hard Times finished, it was Latimer holding up the belt with Rhino in his face.
Yeah.
Like, well, why did, and then you would say, logical thinking, why would Colby put himself in a triple threat when he's won an opportunity to go one-on-one with the champion? It would have made sense.
I get where you're coming from. There's no background to it, really. There had been no build-up to it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, Colby's here.
Yeah. Not that it's a problem that Colby's in it. It's great, but give us the rationale behind it. That promo there is great, but 4 weeks ago when this started, have him come to the ring and do it and give us the rationale for him going into it. Because if I had a shot at the championship, I didn't want to have it with 2 other people. I'd want me one.
No, you'd want to go one-on-one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and or if it was an anytime one, you'd have it. You'd cash it in at an opportunist time. I don't know if it was an anytime thing or if it had to be announced, you were taking it. But if it was an anytime thing, you'd have it when the championship's weakened.
Yeah.
But if it was a match that you had to announce, you certainly wouldn't go in there with fucking Rhino the other side of Latimer.
Wouldn't be my choice, that's for
No.
sure.
So just that bit of continuity, and there is another bit I'm going to touch on later that again is a bit going along the lines of the same thing. But I just feel like that's such a I don't want to say rookie mistake, but it feels like that, especially when it's
Almost out of place, out of
yeah,
context slightly.
yeah. And then there was like, there's been no big thing about it until this week, which is the
Yeah,
week before it
the
goes.
week before. I know it's almost like I think we spoke the other week about there being nothing about the Natty match as
Oh,
well.
don't get me. We're gonna have. We're not gonna.
But if you're trying to bring your fans in,
Yeah,
surely you want to be promoting that at the start of the
yeah,
series, at the
mhm,
start of, or this, well, not the series, but at the start of this particular
yeah,
set of recordings.
yeah,
I don't know, but what I will say with this is I've always had gripes about their matches being interjected with
yeah,
ads, and that pisses me off, particularly because sometimes they're at quite a pivotal point in the match.
yeah.
What I will say this time is when we went back to the match, they actually showed you the footage of what
Yes,
happened
which is a good thing.
so that you didn't actually miss it. It was like that play and play with a little screen in the
Yeah,
corner. So I was quite grateful for that this time because you come back and EC3 is kind of staggering about the side of the ring and looking a bit dazed and confused, and you're like, well, what have we missed? And then they popped that up so that you could see what had happened and you see EC3 going into the post and stuff.
mm,
So at least they got that right this time.
interesting. Sorry, just to cut you off. There's been a bit of breaking news from the World League of Wrestling. The match between Skylar Sparks and Kylie Page will not be happening on Saturday, but the
Oh,
ladies' champion will be in action Saturday night. They haven't said who, so maybe an issue with the
okay.
interesting because it just broke up on my Twitter feed as I we.
There we go.
Well, to bring it up as we'd spoken to obviously Leland Race this week. Very interesting to find out who that is, but I'm going to touch on the Kenzie thing because I want to get the rant out of the way. I don't think it's fair
Okay.
to end it with a rant as well. But on the same lines as that, and considering this is Roku, considering the match with Natty and Kenzie is probably one of the biggest interpromotional matches the NWA has done. When you've got a contracted star coming from the WWE now, I don't know if there's going to be a partnership or anything or something like that going forward. Nothing has been put out. They even next week when we're assuming this is when the match is going to be because it should be the final week. They're going to have the World Heavyweight Championship match next week, so you would assume this is going to be the last week of the Crockett Cup. The work that Natty and Kenzie had done in the background to
Yeah.
build this, to book this
And
together,
all the stuff we'd seen on social media in the run up to it.
and they have used nothing of that on Roku, considering you want to go to a new fan base, you want to get your fans, you want to get new fans brought into the brand. You're bringing in one of the biggest females from the WWE, and
Yeah.
you've not done one single bit of promotion for that.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I think we touched on it the other week
You did,
about there's potentially reasons that could be
yeah,
contractual things that we don't know about, that have maybe prevented them from doing it. But when they hyped it up before it, maybe that
yeah,
was to sell tickets to the actual show, which is absolutely what you should be doing.
yeah,
But then to almost go radio silent on it, it seems a little strange. And there's been nothing even on the social media building it up
no,
or coming up in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Something just doesn't seem right about that. But like I said, it's potentially something that we know nothing about, and
yeah,
there are reasons that we can't be told about, which is fine, but I don't know, like Natty's huge and the whole Natty persona that's come
yeah,
out has is so over.
yeah.
So over. That whole other, so this is the other side of me, this is the real me. I don't understand it. I don't.
It just made all their work seem pointless
Yeah,
that
I
they've done.
think I think if I was in Kenzie's shoes particularly, I'd be a little bit disappointed in it.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, as you rightly said, there could be contractual issues why they can't do it, and fair enough if there is. But it still doesn't answer the World Championship stuff and why Kobe didn't just come out and under because we was under the impression it was Rhino Latimer. And I
Yeah,
think like 2 days before this was recorded is when Colby got in. You're like,
yeah,
oh, and then I assumed, oh, there'll be something coming up on the weeks leading up to it as to why Colby got in there, but nothing. And it's
nothing.
just no. I think we'll see. But look, I think this is something that NWA needs to start doing, especially when they're on a streaming service. You want to get people watching. And when you've got someone
Yeah,
like
why
that,
why wouldn't you hype up stuff like that to get eyes on the
everyone
product?
else does.
And
They
the whole Cole, like obviously the Rhino promo, the ECW, I nearly said the EC3 arena because we're so used to talking about him.
yeah,
The ECW arena was where he made his name, like this
yeah,
was his home. But the whole Colby side of thing, talking about his dad
yeah,
and about how he was brought up in the arena pretty much. So I think one of the promos they were talking about Colby being pushed around in a pram as a little kid. And why would you not push that? Why would you not like play on that and really hone in on it? I don't know.
shocking. But just as on a touch on Rhino, and as a slight side, our good friends at the Cobra Wrestling Academy in Southend have got a seminar with Rhino. So anyone, okay, especially in that Essex area, that wants it, I think it's £30, and I think it's £30 well spent. If you want to be taught
That's
by,
a bargain.
oh, but I mean, considering he's been there, seen it, and done it in every recognised promotion in America, including of course. Go and do it. Just go to Cobra Wrestling Academy Outlook.com and get your space. And 14th of October. So really good.
Not that far away.
Big opportunity for anyone. So yeah, about a month or so away. Right, enough of the ranting. Enough of that. Let's
You
let's
got
get
that
back
off
into
your chest. You're good now.
yeah. And again, it's going back onto two matches. I don't like the format of the two matches.
There's an awful lot of filler.
There is
An awful lot of fluff that doesn't need to be there, in my opinion. I think,
yeah.
again, I'm trying to be objective. They're trying to get new fans on board. So I understand the recaps from the previous weeks and things, but I'd prefer a three match show.
It works so much better. But when we do get the new stuff, it's pretty cool. I mean, we saw Alex Misery somewhere.
That was a really good promo, man. He's so unhinged.
He is unhinged. He's unhinged when we spoke to him. Let alone on Powerr this week. And he was saying about, they've been overlooked and stuff like that. So, and they showed you the recap of the fireball in Max's face. So I'm sure that we haven't seen the last of that. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm liking this. More of Alex Misery because he's a great competitor as well. And then now the character work is coming in. We're really getting an understanding, somewhat of an understanding about
of who Alex is, yeah.
Because for weeks and weeks and weeks on Powerr, we never really. He was a great wrestler, but we never really. The character side of him was never really come out. But now we're seeing it, and it's brilliant from him. And he's such a great character and a wrestler, and that's very. It's not say very rare, but it's unusual that you do get somebody that's got that great character work behind him, but when the bell goes off, it's so good as well.
Yeah. And on that note, we did interview him. If you haven't seen it, go and check out the HCDB YouTube channel. We had an experience with Alex Misery.
Should have called it the Alex Misery experience. Yes, it is. Now, if you go to the playlist, you go to the NWA. Spotlight series or the special guest one. Special guest one will bring it all every 230 interviews that we've done. The NWA Spotlight one will just focus on the NWA. And if you want to do the Talking Territories one, there is one for Talking Territories as well, which with some of the guys like the Harley Leland race and the Gannon Jones want to be on there in a couple of weeks as well. So just keep an eye on that one if that one's going in. Watering Hole.
Uncle Thrills.
Uncle Thrills Watering Hole. Now I don't know. Is this Thrillbilly's watering hole? Is this his uncle's watering hole?
Who knows? I probably will never find out.
Very true. But in there this week, we had we've had, not so this is the culmination, but over the last few weeks on Powerr, and this is what they do very well. We've had the issue with the Tommy Henry and Joe Kazana, and we've had the thing with Mims and Thrillbilly the last couple of weeks. So they were all in there, as was Hunter Drake and
Tyler Franks, and Kenzie.
And Kenzie as well. So again, anyway, not going to talk about that. They're all there, and they're at an autograph sign. So they're doing this autograph signing in the watering hole, which nobody seemed to. They didn't go back to it to see any more this week. There was only one bit. There was bits there where Kenzie again was on a hunter about lying during this. What's going on? Something is not right there. We'll have to see if that comes out. Joe Kazana was talking to his boys, the country gentlemen.
Yeah.
Tommy Henry was at the other side of the table. He's not happy. Mims and having an who's going to do the most autographs.
I like that bit. The whole Mims Thrillbilly stuff was entertaining. Their little back and forth. I was like, this is quite cool. I like this.
It is. I'm assuming we're going to get a match between them on the road to NWA 77. That seems to be the likely way it's going with that, which should be a good match, actually. But ultimately, Casey Kazana was saying to Joe, I think you need to apologize.
And I was like, why? And then he's like, hey, for how great we are. But the best part wasn't even that. The best part for me was AJ going, I don't know how many siblings we've got out there.
Yeah.
Referring to Joe's time on the touring scene back in the day. And I was like, oh, and I was like, it's a good point.
It was a good point. Yeah, definitely would be. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see where we go along with that. We know that at 77 there is the Tommy Henry versus Joe Kazana match, so we know that's coming up. But Mims and Thrillbilly, we got to see, because we know Thrillbilly's obviously going challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship at 7. So that's interesting. We'll see where that goes. We're not going to talk about the Latimer stuff again, because there's another there's alliteration of that promo that you up 4 times on the last couple of shows. But Silas got a promo.
Man, he's fired up.
He really is fired up on this, and basically he issued the challenge at that point to basically saying that he was going to walk into 77 and win the World Heavyweight Championship. So we kind of now know, which is when I was talking earlier on about it not making sense. With this one, it does.
Yeah.
He's throwing out the challenge for 77. So it seems like they can do it, but they don't do it when they need to do it. I think that makes sense. But anyway, he threw it out there. So we know that's happening. And we on the Colby promo about his dad, like you mentioned, which should have been an interview on week 1 of the Crockett Cup. But hey ho, it is what it is, right? We can't do it.
Yeah, do you know, I remember the time where they'd had sit-down interviews with Joe Galley, and he did a sit-down, I think,
with Tom
and EC3.
Yeah.
And that was really, really good. I'd quite like to see some more things like that on the program.
And then you could have made sense with the whole Colby Y and rant over, right? Let's just anyway. Now, main event time, second semi-final of the Crockett Cup, a good old-fashioned meat slapper.
2 huge teams, quite literally 2 huge teams.
2.25 huge teams. With Knox and Murdoch, of course, there is Smalls.
Indeed.
Against the Immortals. And these guys, Jesus, they went straight at it. There was no messing around. Trevor Murdoch, and I think it was Kratos, chopping the Jesus out of each other.
Yep.
And it was literally, the whole match was a lot of power, but then when Odinson gets in there, he adds that different element. And I think that's a nice bit, because you've got Knox, Murdoch, and Kratos, the 3 big guys that, I mean, Kratos can move for a big guy, but
yeah, absolutely.
In terms of what they can do, it was nice to have Odinson in there as that little bit of a differentiator.
A little contrast, yeah.
Yeah, because Odinson is a big old boy, but he's got that, I don't know, he can just move that bit quicker, and he can do a couple of moves that the other 3 can't. So it was a nice nice blend of talent in that one. There was a Pele kick in there from Kratos, actually, which I would say was quite an incredible bit. There was breaks. We're not going to get into that. The Guardian uppercut was hit as well during this. But then the turning point, because during this match, Trevor was getting more frustrated.
You could see it. It was very visible.
It was very visible indeed. There was a high-low, and they high-lowed the wrong man.
So they high-lowed Odinson.
Yes.
But it was actually Kratos that was the legal man in the...
So the ref didn't count, which got a bit, which irked Trevor even more on this. And
he basically took Scott Wheeler out.
Yes, he took Scott Wheeler out.
Which probably wasn't the smart thing to do, because then he's looking at potential DQ.
Yeah, which they didn't DQ, which was quite weird. But what then happened was Murdoch lost it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but Trevor did not seem like Trevor.
He was choking. I can't remember who it was.
Kratos. He got Smalls' shirt and used that and had Kratos against the ropes.
Joe Garley from commentary.
Gold. absolute gold.
Absolutely.
He called this to perfection. And
What
I
is he
don't
gonna
often speak
do?
about the commentary. I don't
Yeah.
often speak about the commentary on
No.
NWA, but Joe Galley was just perfect during this.
He was brilliant during this segment or during this part of the match. He's saying he's going to kill him, and there was a real sense of seriousness, and the whole part of the commentary is to tell the story.
Yep.
And Joe was doing an incredible job of telling that story during that, especially. I mean, he does a great job anyway. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah, of course, of
but
course. But no, Joe was gold on this.
when you need it to be turned up, I mean, he done it when Carl Davis got beaten up by the Southern.
Absolutely.
Then he come out with whatever it was he come out with at the end of the. They made a T-shirt out of it, didn't they? Eventually,
I can't remember what that was. Was it a crowbar or something? I
or a
can't
bar
remember.
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he come out with. But yeah, great job of commentary on this. And then Smalls is like Senator Trevor, like calm down, blah blah blah. Mike Knox is like, what's going on here?
And Trevor, like Smalls is like, we're gonna lose.
We're gonna
Stop.
lose. Stop. We're gonna get DQ'd here. Trevor boots him in the head.
I know.
Turns on Smalls. I mean, Garley at this point, he's having palpitations on
Yeah,
Smalls.
Joe's face must have been scarlet. I've got visions of Joe doing like a Michael Cole or something and being like up on his feet and just
Yeah,
like
going
screaming
crazy.
down the headset.
But then, as if it can't go any worse, Mike Knox, who was looked conflicted
But and was
during,
also like Trevor, like
yeah,
because he takes the shirt from
he
Trevor,
does.
and you think he's gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
But as we've both seen, that is not the case.
He just kind of looked at him and went, fuck it. Boom, boom, and then started choking as well. So then Knox, so we've seen a turn from Knox and Murdoch here. And we saw low blows as well.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, before you go any further, so Knox obviously choking Smalls out again,
Yeah.
and all you hear is Joe going, "You monster!" Like, totally screaming. I was like, this is brilliant.
It was again, fantastic job from Joe Gardy. But eventually, the tag to Odison, the roll up comes in, and the Immortals get through to the Crockett Cup finals next week against the Colognes. So
Which
the
is going to
Immortals
be epic. I'm looking forward to that.
2023 runners up, the Immortals, if I'm right.
I think they were, yeah, not last year.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was maybe in last year against the Six, actually.
I can't remember, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's about time Odinson and Kratos as the Immortals got a shot. I think they've been underestimated.
Yep.
I think they've maybe been overlooked on
Yeah,
occasion as well.
agreed, agreed.
Um, I really like them as a tag team, so I am excited to see what they do against the Clones. Again, it's two completely different styles.
I think it's going to be great. I
I'm looking
honestly,
forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think as a
But
pairings, two pairings there that are gonna. I think the chemistry is going to be there. I know they haven't really wrestled each other before,
yeah,
but when you can just sense that it's just going to be on point. And I think for all the teams in the Crockett Cup, and this is no disrespect to any of the others that are in, I think the pairing of these two in the final
it's
is
perfect.
just right. Yeah, for
Yeah.
the final of this competition. So really looking forward to that next week.
But the question is, Murdoch and Knox, what next? What's going on?
It made
Is
sense.
this a whole new era of Trevor? Like I know he's gone through phases before, like he was a bit of a heel beforehand. Is this a full-blown cue to everybody? Is it the beginning of the end of Knox and Murdoch? Is it like I don't know where this is going to go.
Me either. But I think is that the now it makes more sense why he was so annoyed when we made it. He said he was going to lose the tag titles of 77. He gave us he was swearing in an emoji, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Probably doesn't help. We kind of know why. But yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen with Knox. Are they going to get involved next week?
Bit of a almost a bit of a kind of rookie mistake on their part as well. But obviously their emotions got the better and their frustrations got the better of them. But for being such a both individually as absolute veterans of the wrestling ring, and they have tagged together for quite some time now, you would have think they would have known better.
You would think so, considering the experience.
But when that red mist and that frustration descends on you, then all rationale goes out the window, doesn't it? So
It does. It does, and it did to their comeuppance as well. They got their comeuppance because they lost. I was expecting a beatdown at the end, actually, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, just kind of, I thought it cut off quite quickly as well, actually.
You did, it did, but nevertheless, Immortals Colognes next week. So we're assuming, and if I think it's right that next week is the final week of the Crockett Cup, so we're going to get Latimer versus Carino versus Rhino. We're going to get Natty and Kenzie, and we're going to get the Crockett Cup final between Immortals. We're back to the free match format next week, which I think
Keep
suits.
you happy.
Well, yeah, I think it just suits. It just suits the television. I think it suits Roku.
It's such a short show.
Yeah,
It's 45 minutes or whatever it is. It's such a short show. I don't want to cram so much wrestling in that it's not quality wrestling.
yeah.
You don't want 5 matches,
No, we've had
but
that a few times,
three
haven't
gives you a good 12-minute matches or whatever minimum. Plus, it still gives you time to have some filler, but not the amount of filler that we've had.
we?
Although I do like the background stories that are running, so the whole
Yeah,
Thrill Belly watering hole and everything, I like having that because it kind of brings things together, and so we know when the match with Tommy and Joe Kazana
yeah,
comes up, for example, we now know why that happens when it happens.
yeah, exactly that. And I wouldn't mind it if we had like 3 12-minute matches for 36 and then like 9 10 minutes of filler in between each match, like a 3 4 minute promo, or maybe at the end, or
Yeah.
whatever, how it works. I would prefer it like, but I do think the free match format will
The
work.
format for me just doesn't seem like they've quite got it right yet.
No, maybe it's just testing ground and seeing what I think. And as we go forward on Roku, maybe we'll see it pan out in a different way, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. But 5 matches is too many. 2 matches is too short. I think the free match, especially for a 45-minute program, three
Yeah.
matches is perfect. As long as you get the bits in between right, it just works better. It works better for me. Anyway. Maybe I'm talking rubbish. Maybe the Discord says. I don't know what the Discord is saying. So,
See, and for all these people who are like, oh, you're such NWA marks, we can criticize it. I'm okay criticizing it when there's things that I don't like.
it's,
Like, it would be remiss of us not to.
the whole point of this is that we share our opinions. Right? And yeah, we go, we're big NWA fans, but it doesn't mean to say we don't like things. And we will
We don't
call
have to like everything.
no, but it doesn't make us more or less of a fan because we didn't like something. It's not something can be in our taste. Like I went on that 5 6 minute rant earlier about why the hell did we not get the background stories for everything, and why have they not promoted probably one of the biggest matches in NWA history for this next week? They have done zero background.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one.
Anyway, so that's it. That's this week of Power. But obviously, look, before we get to next week, we've all got things going on. You kind of belted out loads on the Gannon Jones.
I did.
What's going on? Because this is going to go out before Gannon Jones, of course.
It is. So let me bring up my trusty calendar again. So I've got one show this weekend with Premier British Wrestling, Elver and Armadale. So that's ringsideworld.co.uk for tickets for that. Joey Hayes is coming up. Wesley, I've forgotten Wesley's second name. That's terrible. Wesley's coming up with Joey. That's terrible. What's Wesley's second name? I'm sorry, Wesley, I don't remember. So I've got that on Saturday. Next weekend, I've got a weekend off for my mum's birthday. Then I'm going on the road with Inside the Ropes with Bret Hart, Glasgow, Manchester, London. Manchester is completely sold out. There are no general admission tickets left for that. So just keep an eye out on the socials. Somebody might be selling something. We've still got GA for Glasgow, still got GA for London, and unsurprisingly, all the VIPs have sold out for the meet and greet. And then at the end of the month, I've got PBW in Larbert on the 26th. I've got Pro 2 in Stranraer on the 27th. And then moving into October, I've got British Championship Wrestling, I've got Pro Wrestling Scotland, I've got Saltire Pro Wrestling, and I've got W3L. So it's a busy kind of 6 8 weeks coming up.
You've got a lot going on, 6 to 8, which is fun to see. And I just want to shout out WCW Nitro. Today marks the 30th year anniversary of the first ever WCW Nitro landscape.
Wow. God, I feel old.
Lex Luger returning the day after he was on WWE, set the standard for what we see today. And people like Eric Bischoff that we've had on the show probably never gets the credit that he deserves for what he done for WCW. So just wanted to shout that out quickly. Coming up on the show, so we're going to have to, unfortunately for me and Pete, we've got to reschedule the Love Dug. Just been informed today that he's got a working commitment, so we'll get that rescheduled. But that will happen. We will get him on. We need to get him on because it's going to be a fantastic interview for us. Coming up next week, though, on the show, I'm going to sit back down again with Will Scar and David Bartholomew, the artists from If We Wrote the Theme. But we're going to be doing a top 10, and we're going to be recording the top 10 wrestling video game. That's going to be an interesting.
I have not played a WWE wrestling game in a very long time. I used to play with my son, SmackDown versus Raw and stuff like that. He kicked my ass continuously. That's probably why I haven't played. I just gave up.
Yeah, very true. Recording next week as well, ahead of our Ignite takeover, is the Ignite champion, David James. He's not happy. What a fucking surprise. Tell me something I didn't know. He's not happy about his triple threat match, so I'm going to have the joy talking to him because he's probably going to blame me for that. Also coming up, we're going to be talking to Ignite's DJ Carter ahead of Buckle Up 3 as well. I'll get to Buckle Up 3 in a minute. We're also going to be talking to Marek Brave from the Black and the Brave Wrestling Academy, basically the academy that's co-run by Seth Rollins. So Marek's the other co-owner.
Talking of that, just to interject there, I had no idea, and I just seen on social media that the very lovely Visage is now out there from the UK training for a couple of months. So I'm very, very excited for them. I hope they have an absolute blast. So go smash it, Visage.
A good colleague of mine, pro wrestler Callum Beck, was also part of the training when Seth was there. So that was an interest.
That's cool.
And obviously on the 21st, Buckle Up 3, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm not going to bore you to that. Just go nice to the event before I get your tickets. You're going to get a lot more. Social media is going to be full up about that. So I'm not doing it for a reason. And then finally, Independent Showcase will return with a guy that actually wrestles and owns a promotion. His name's Tyson Keaton. He will be on the show very, very soon. But the videos that are dropping next week as I bring up my content that's scheduled for next week, the top 10 will return next week. Also, sorry, we had to move a video, Lord Cruz, that was meant to drop today. I had to shift it just because I had another 3 letters call the other day. So Frankie Kazarian's interview is live, so that dropped ahead of Lord Cruz. Sorry, the merciless one. But your one will drop Monday. So Lord Cruz will be out next week, as will a top 10 with a content creator of 4 million likes on social media. Renee, we're doing our top 10 wrestling oh my god moments, and our interview with J-Rock will drop next Wednesday. And then following that, the Ultimate Geezer Tommy Tanner, who's going to be at Ignite, his interview will drop the week after, as will Taylor James's, as will the Ignite preview, and as will Gallon Jones.
Busy.
I'm now going to exhale, and say, Fee, it's the finals next week of the Crockett Cup. So when you can watch it, are we coming back next week to crown the Crockett Cup winners?
Without a doubt.
In that case, everybody follow us, HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast everywhere else, and on Blue Sky. Well, I keep forgetting that. So, but until next week for your NWA fans, this has been the NWA Power Review with Fiona Loughran, with me, your host, Adam Cousins, and we'll be back next week with the finals. But until then, everyone, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.